Okay, I'm just trying to not have you fall.
Hey, welcome back to FloorCereal podcast.
We haven't been introducing ourselves.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm Mr. Shark.
I'm Persephone.
Today we're going to be doing season 3, episode 12 of Bluey, which is Housework. In this episode, the healers are trying to catch up on some housework when Bandit notices that the kids' way of cleaning up is a little bit silly, a little bit interesting, and so they stop and observe. And then it continues from there.
All right, let's dive right in to Housework.
So they're watching. Bandit has noticed the kids walking past while they clean up in their silly game, and he's not going to do any more work until one of the kids walks just normal. And instead of telling him, no, we need to get this housework done, you're just stalling, you're just whatever, she totally parents him.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay,
all right, at least set the rules.
but let's set the rules for this interruption, and what is it going to take for you to get back to work?
It's so obvious that he's just like stalling.
He's just stalling, right?
To do the housework,
right? And I used to tell people all the time that the worst part about working with children, like in preschool, was dealing with their parents, because you have to use the exact same techniques on grown adults in order to get them to do what you need them to do, or help them through their emotions or whatever. They're just giant children, and the fact that she just steps right in and she's like, okay. I love it. I've just now realized that Chili and Bandit don't actually have a lot of long scenes where they're just interacting with each other. They have one-offs where they're interacting with other people. Mostly it's Bandit and the kids, but the two of them together just having this long interaction that doesn't happen very frequently. It doesn't. The admission of we don't know, I think, is so important.
Yeah, instead of making an excuse,
or even just because you kids are being crazy and we, it looked fun, or even just a legit reason of why they were doing it, because of the way the situation was working. They could have said that and it would have been acceptable, and not condescending or anything. It would have been reasonable. But to say we don't know, my parents never said I don't know to me. And I don't know, it's powerful, I think, for kids to hear adults say I don't know.
It's time for the star chart.
I think that Chili should go in social management.
All right, Chili in social management. What do you give her?
Nothing too crazy. Probably just a 7.
I'm gonna give her an 8.
Okay.
Just because she parented.
Her parenting of Bandit.
She parented Bandit without even missing a beat. She didn't even
Yeah.
Which might have just been her also not wanting to do the chores, but also most moms in media are portrayed as the taskmasters, not the ones who facilitate and allow games to be played.
Yeah.
So the fact that they made that conscious choice, I think, is nice.
And also both of them doing the cleaning.
They're sharing the responsibility. Yeah.
Also Chili.
Social awareness. Why?
I think you're right. It goes hand in hand with the social management, because you have to be aware to manage, and usually with those two, it's taken by one person per episode.
What do you mean?
Because with self-management and self-awareness, someone can be aware of what's going on with themselves, and that can be portrayed, and then a different character can manage themselves, and that can be portrayed. But with social management and social awareness, it's not usually portrayed that someone's aware of the situation, or it's not easy to portray that without portraying them managing the situation.
They show their awareness by managing it.
Exactly. So I think that it usually just goes hand in hand.
Okay. So we're going to put her at 8 there as well. Self-management. I think the girls are probably in self-management for me.
Yeah, because with when they were asked to stop their game and do the housework, minimal fussing, and also the whole reason that they do the walks, which the parents learn, at the end of the episode, is to make housework more fun. And so instead of like having to complain and whinge, they're just able to make it into a game, which Bandit has taught them to do.
Right.
It's to make, everything more fun.
Yeah. Pretty high.
Like
8 as well.
Yeah.
Okay, and then self-awareness. I think either Bandit or Chili. Just because I think that their procrastination stalling technique, it's an efficient way to
get themselves ready
to like honor the fact that they want to procrastinate without like beating themselves up over it.
Right. That's a good point. I saw this thing yesterday. If you're in a neurodivergent relationship, that instead of saying to your partner, hey, can you come do this? Or can you come help me with this? Can you come do this now? Because neurodivergent people have the thing of like the immediate like authority defiance, where if it's like, hey, come do this, they're like, no. Yeah. So it helps with that. And it also helps them.
What does?
Sorry. Instead being like, hey, can you come help me with this thing in like 20 minutes? It like if they're like in the middle of something, could be like something they're hyper fixated on. It gives them like a chance to finish up what they're doing, and it gives them a chance to like prepare in their brains and like emotionally to be like, okay, I'll have to go do this thing, not right now, but like in a bit.
Yeah. And
it's just easier for them to manage their feelings when they have like a bit more time.
Well, and for the parents to be aware that like, I mean, not that I don't think they were aware that they don't like housework, like that's just a common thing, but to like allow themselves to like have this fixed time where they can procrastinate that without, like I said, beating themselves up over it. Like, no, we've got to get it done. We've got to get it done. They could have just been like, ignore the girls. We got to get it done.
Right.
But they kind of used that moment. I think that this is like a very telling episode of how they model for the girls of how to honor your own feelings and not like force yourself to do the things that you don't want to do just because you have to do them.
Right, and honoring your feelings and still being able to get to the point where you can do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
I saw that video as well about the requesting of tasks. And when you were saying it just now, I was thinking of how in the last couple of years, I've had to train myself, yes, but also Dad and Mima to respect your guys's focusing on something. Like there was something.
Was it Icarus playing his game yesterday?
No. A couple years ago when we were in Virginia, something happened. Oh, I think you guys were playing chess. And Mima wanted you to come do something, like help her with something or fix something or pick something up. I don't even remember what it was. And she was like, well, come do it. And you didn't move. And she was like, hello. And I was like, whoa, like they're literally in the middle of a game, Mom. Like you can see they're engaged. They're doing something. It's not fair to just snap your fingers and make them stop. And like you could see her brain was just like, oh. And even then, once it was pointed out, it took some time for her to get to the point where she can say, can you please finish your task? And then blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Or after you, whatever. Because like when we were talking about Wagon Ride, you mentioned everybody deserves the respect of not being interrupted. And that doesn't just go for speaking, it goes for actions as well. Like and I think that for me this comes from Montessori, like in the Montessori classroom, when a child is focusing on a task, we don't interrupt them, not even to tell them they're doing a good job or to ask them what they're doing. We let them be, because that's intrinsic motivation, and when we interrupt that, we've halted the learning process that's happening in the repetitiveness of that task. So for me, it comes from there. But again, it is part of like respecting that other human as a human who is doing something, and not recognizing that you wanting the laundry picked up or whatever it is not more important
Mm-hmm.
than the 3 young children who are literally sitting down playing chess in the middle of the day. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and like that's a huge thing to be able to see and honor in others, but also in the self,
Mm-hmm.
which is a long, really long-winded way to say self-awareness.
Those are probably both of them.
The parents.
Yeah.
Self-awareness for the parents. What score do you think?
Um.
I think it's probably like 7.
Yeah. It's not like super high or like super shown, but it's
Right.
there.
Okay, and then empathy. I think this whole episode just kind of does good with the empathy. Like,
Yeah.
everybody kind of understands the thing needs to be done. Everybody understands that nobody wants to do the thing, and so nobody's really griping at anybody about it.
Yeah. Which housework can get a little violent and
Very
screaming.
gripey, yes. But they're all recognizing that they are in the same boat, and they just need to get it done. And I think that's kind of shared empathy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put empathy at like 8.
Yeah.
Let's recap the star chart scores.
So for social management, we have Chili at 8, and same for social awareness, Chili at 8. Self-management is Bluey and Bingo, the kids, at 8. Self-awareness is both Chili and Bandit at 7, and then empathy is all of them, like an episode-wide empathy is 8.
Nice. The star chart for this episode will be up on Instagram at Persephone Jane, and quite possibly maybe TikTok at FloorCereal. Is that our business for today?
Yep, that's our business for today.
See you next time.
Bye.